New video time, bloody lawnmower. Shit. Okay, this video we're back into the Rx8. We start doing some fabrication to get that fuel system underway, and we start by doing the surge tank. Well, most of it. Anyway, enjoy. I actually didn't film this part in the video, but this is what I use as a base to mount everything to. It's some sort of wood. I don't know much about wood, but we cut this down to size to fit into the boot space, and everything gets mounted to that. Now in the video, I do say that I'm going to glue this to the floor. Wrong. I'm going to actually screw it up from the underside so it can be removable. So there you go. So I'm not going to lie, woodwork is not my favourite pastime. I actually failed it in school. But what I've got there is I've just cut the radius here and I've cut this down to size. There is a gap here, but it's just the way the floor shapes in. So what I need to do, yeah, it's fairly solid. So this will be glued down to the steel floor in the end. But what I need to do is mount my fuel pumps around here somewhere. Now that bracket you have to screw from the underside. So I'll draw these, countersink the other side, put the screws up, bolt the bracket down, fuel pumps will live there. And then once I've got that, I can start to measure up my surge tank. It's not going to be very deep, but I can get volume out of bringing it in and out. So I'll do that. Okay, so now fuel pumps are mounted. They're nice and solid, so they're drilled up from underneath. So what I need to do next is measure how big the surge tank's going to be, and because I'm putting a perspex cover over the top like I did with the Rx7, I have to go from the lowest point, which is over here, which only gives me 80 mil from under the perspex to the top of this. So she's going to be a very skinny surge tank, but with this area it should still hold quite a bit of fuel. We will still baffle this, and we'll put my inlets in up here and the exit at the back. Just for when you're moving forward, all the fuel's going to the back, so that will always be a pickup. So I'll quickly get a few dimensions and I'll draw her up. Okay, so I've done a few dimensions and just drawn that up. It's very, very narrow. Was it 150 wide by 440 long? These are where I'm going to have my fittings in, and I'll have a -6 out for the fuel rail, and one of these is returned from the engine, one of them is feed, and one of them is returned to the tank. So I'm actually going to run a -8 return to the tank. I don't know why, just going to. So worked it out anyway, and works out to 5.28 litres, which isn't a great deal, but when you think about it, that's $15 worth of gas in here, so that's not too bad. So what I've got in here is I've just got a piece of alley, and I'm going to start hacking this piece here, and then I will actually cut another piece that's going to come over the top of that and butt into this nicely. So that might be a bit of a mission, but we'll see how we go. So you'll be getting sick of looking in my boot at the moment, but one more time. So what I've done is I've got the plate down here. So this is pretty much the footprint of the surge tank. But what I need to do is to get this edge to marry in nice. So I'm not going to bother trying to build the slope in my surge tank. What these are, I'm just going to build a rectangle and then just have the top piece come over and butt into this. I did it with the Rx7 on a video a long time ago now. Don't watch it because it's shit, but that's what I'm going to do. I just need to blend all of this in and just have this base as the surge tank. So I've done some dimensions, and I'll go cut it now, and I'll spare you the pain of watching it. All right, so I've gone and cut me some bits to make this up. So I'm going to tack it all together. Now this plate here will run all the way across the front, and this will have the AN fittings in there. So I'm going to pre-drill those before I weld the bottom down, just that way I can get all the swarf out of here. I don't even know if I'm going to run a baffle in this. It's not deep, so probably not, to be honest. But we'll see how we get on anyway. So I'm going to tack this together, as I said, drill some holes, and then look at fully welding it, and then we'll sit it in the car. Probably not going to mount it today. I still need to figure out fuel lines, all the rest of that stuff. So we'll just get it fabbed. So just got this all stitched up. I do need to clean this material. It's been sitting around a bit, and as you can see, it's bringing out all the shit out of the material. So I'll do this part, and then I'll clean it down with some terps and try and clean up a little bit, trying to get it a little bit more pure. But so what I've done there, done the top and the sides. Now this bit overhangs because I want to try and shape that into the wheel arch a little bit nicer, instead of having just a hole there. I'm going to try and blend her in. But now I need to drill the holes. There's 3 of them up here, 1 down there. So I've only got the 1 fitting, but I'll drill all the holes, and once the swarf's taken out and this one's welded in there, I can close it off, blaze the whole thing up, and when I get new ones of these, just weld them in. But yeah, so far so good. Holes are drilled. So what I have here is fuel in, fuel return from the engine, and this one is a little bit lower, so this is going to be my fuel drain back to the main tank, and then obviously this one is my fuel to the engine. So I'm going to weld that one on, and then clean all this out, and then weld that plate on the bottom, and then just a shit ton of welding. I had to shape this bit a little bit here to fit into that around the groove of the engine, the boot. So all is good. So once I get these fittings, it doesn't matter, I can weld these in. They're drilled, so it saves all that swarf being inside there. So perfect. All right, I'm gonna get to some welding. So now I've just gone through and put a few stitch welds here and there just to try and hold it. Touch the tungsten. It's not nice when that happens. Anyway, so I've got the fitting half welded on there. So what I'm going to do now is go through the whole thing and just weld. And once that's done and cooled down, we'll go sit it in the car. And then I just need to figure out a way to mount this thing. Yeah. Okay, so she's all welded now. I've only got the 1 fitting, as you know, just down here. That will work all right. That will plug into these pumps somehow. But it is sitting all below here, which is good. It actually rises up. The floor does in the Rx8 right here. But that's all good. So when I do get a Perspex cover, it will just slide straight over the top of that. Now, one thing that I didn't do, and I said I would, was to clean this aluminium. And yeah, I kind of wish I did now. She's a bit yuck, but it's no matter. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this now. More than likely it's going to be red to match every bloody red thing else in here, and then I'll just get a black cover over the top. But as for that, yeah, she's decent size, but yeah, it will work. But it just looks odd. For a surge tank, it looks really, really odd. But that fits in there nice. What I will do is probably have a tab just coming off the bottom here, and we'll just screw it straight down to this timber. So far, so good. I'm pretty happy with that, but yeah, just need some more fittings. Oh well. So what's going to happen later on is these fuel pumps here are pointing in that direction, so I will cut a hole in here. the lines will run straight out through there and then they'll hook into the tank underneath. Now, story with the tank is I'm still waiting for it to be cut, so probably next week I'll start making that. But yeah, I reckon that looks all right. Yep, so those lines will run out there into the tank, and then I need to run the line all the way to the front and then plug it all up to that fuel pressure rig. So probably, I don't know, another 2 weeks, and then we're back to mucking around with the Microtech and trying to tune in those 1000cc injectors just to start her up. And then, yeah, we'll go from there, get it back to the dyno, and then see how well it goes, if it goes. So I went to work today and I thought about this, and yeah, I really don't like it. So I'm going to sand this out now with a 120 pad, sand this flat, then give it an orbital, and I'm not going to polish it. It's either going to be painted black or red. So I've covered these up so no dust gets inside, and I have ordered more of these through Alien Speed Parts, so I should have those tomorrow. So they're not going to make this video. But what I'll do is I'll sand this, I'll probably make a mounting tab out here somewhere, and all that's going to do is just screw down to that plate I have in the bottom, and yeah, next time you see it, we'll have these fittings in, and hopefully it's mounted and all plumbed up in the car. All right. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So I will give this a prime and a paint. I had to sand the whole top because you could see where I'd welded underneath here. It actually distorted the top plate a little bit. But we'll get this back in here. Mean. So probably black. To be honest, I think I'm overdoing the red quite a bit. So I'm probably gonna have to leave this video here. There's not much else I can do until I get those fittings there. I still need to order line, need to work out what fittings I need. As I said, just a tab. I need to make that and weld that on, but there's no point doing it now until I've got those. So once that's done, paint it, stays in the car, then we start working on the drop tank. But if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and hopefully this isn't too far off. And yeah, hopefully she does a lot better. I've said it so many times before, aluminium leaves the worst mess everywhere. All over the car. Hate the stuff. Nice to work with, but just a dust. Okay, cheers.